Ladies and gentlemen, there is a dangerous trap that people fall into, a subtle but insidious mistake that can quietly derail the entire trajectory of their lives. It's the pursuit of approval. It's the desperate attempt to be liked, to be accepted, to be validated by others at the cost of their own integrity and potential. And the worst part, most people don't even realize they're doing it. They confuse approval with success, validation with worth, and attention with meaning. But the truth is, the moment you begin chasing approval instead of excellence, you surrender control of your life. You hand over the steering wheel to others, friends, family, colleagues, strangers on the internet, anyone but yourself. You let them dictate your value, your choices, your sense of identity. And that is a recipe for mediocrity, for frustration, for an existence that feels hollow and unfulfilled. But here's the truth: approval is fleeting, it is unreliable, it is conditional, and worst of all, it is never enough. You could spend your entire life trying to please people, bending yourself to fit into their expectations, and still, it wouldn't be enough. One wrong move, one slip up, one moment of stepping out of line, and the approval you worked so hard for disappears like smoke. And yet, people chase it endlessly, as if the next round of validation will finally make them whole. But it won't, because when you depend on approval, you are at the mercy of forces outside of your control. Excellence, on the other hand, is different. Excellence is not about being liked. It is not about applause. It is not about approval. Excellence is about mastery of yourself, your craft, your character. It is about the pursuit of something greater than social validation. It is about setting a standard for yourself, a standard that has nothing to do with what others think of you. It is about waking up each day with the intention of being better than you were yesterday, not for the sake of recognition, but for the sake of progress. Because progress is where fulfillment lies. Growth is where meaning is found, and mastery is where true confidence is born. People often think that if they become excellent, approval will follow, and in some cases it does. But that's not the point. The point is that when you focus on excellence, approval becomes irrelevant. You no longer need it. You are no longer controlled by it. Because you have built something far more valuable than fleeting applause. You have built competence. And competence gives you real power. It gives you options. It makes you indispensable. It puts you in a position where you do not need to seek approval because your work, your skill, your mastery speaks for itself. The mistake most people make is that they start with approval. They believe that if they can just get people to like them, then everything else will fall into place. But it doesn't work that way. Chasing approval leads to compromising your values, your time, your energy, your ambitions. It leads to playing it safe, to avoiding risks, to suppressing your real thoughts, opinions, and desires just to fit in. And before you know it, you have built a life that is not yours, a life that is a reflection of what others wanted, not what you were truly capable of achieving. Excellence, on the other hand, is hard. It requires discipline. It requires effort. It requires failure. It requires standing alone at times. It requires making decisions that others won't understand, but it is also the only thing that will give you real self-respect. Because when you chase excellence, you are not playing a game of impressions, you are playing a game of substance. You are building something real. And that is what separates those who achieve great things from those who live in quiet desperation, waiting for someone else to tell them they are good enough. Think about the people you admire the most, the ones who inspire you, the ones who stand out in their field. Are they the ones who spent their lives chasing approval? Or are they the ones who dedicated themselves to excellence, regardless of what others thought? Greatness does not come from consensus. It does not come from popularity. It comes from an unwavering commitment to a higher standard. It comes from a willingness to do the work, even when no one is watching, even when there is no immediate reward. That is the difference between those who leave a mark on the world and those who fade into obscurity. The ones who make an impact are not concerned with whether or not people approve of them. They are concerned with whether or not they are doing meaningful work, whether they are pushing themselves beyond their limits, whether they are becoming better, sharper, stronger. whether they are fulfilling their potential. Because at the end of the day, that is what truly matters. Not likes, not applause, not validation, but the knowledge that you did something worthwhile, that you did not waste your time trying to impress people who would forget you in an instant. And make no mistake, chasing excellence will make you stand out. It will set you apart. And when that happens, some people will admire you, but others will resent you. They will criticize you. They will try to pull you down, not because you are doing something wrong, but because your excellence exposes their complacency. It reminds them of the effort they did not put in, the risks they did not take, the potential they let go to waste. And instead of rising to the challenge, they would rather tear you down to make themselves feel better. That is why you cannot build your life on approval, because the moment you start achieving something real, some people will stop approving. And if you depend on their validation, you will either shrink yourself to keep them comfortable, or you will exhaust yourself trying to please everyone. But if you have built yourself on excellence, none of that will matter, because you will not be working for approval. You will be working for something deeper, something more meaningful, your own self-mastery, your own highest potential, your own pursuit of greatness. So ask yourself, what are you chasing? Are you living to be liked, to be accepted, to be approved of? Or are you living to be great, to be strong, to be competent, to be excellent? Because the truth is, you cannot have both. You must choose. One path is easy, but it leads to mediocrity. The other path is hard, but it leads to fulfillment. And in the end, the choice is yours.